Hello everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to the As Always podcast. This is episode 141. I'm one of your hosts, James, and I'm joined, as always, by Tyler.
As always, how's it going, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, you good? Yeah, mate. I'm doing well. I've been better. Last week was just fucking sick as shit. It was awful. But, you know, here we are, back again. A bit late, and that's the reason this is late. Probably by at least a few hours, if not more than. Because usually we're never recording on for me, Monday morning, Sunday night for you. At the latest, it'd be Sunday night for me. So this is definitely going to be late on some level, and I apologize for that. And we were supposed to have Colin Moriarty on this episode. Because we had it all booked and organized for last week, but I was too sick and couldn't record. And thank God I made that call early, because I was, at the time we were supposed to record, it was just a disaster.
Well, it's for the best.
Just really fluey, eh? Like,
no good.
No good. It was no good. So I just, like, me and the missus, both super sick, and just literally just stayed at home and didn't do anything for days. Yeah, it was not the best. Not the best. But it's what it is. It's what it is, man. How are you going? What's new?
I'm alright. Not a lot's new. We're obviously still in lockdown over here. You're starting to tell people that can see the camera. My hair's getting a bit long. So that's gonna happen. We're gonna see where that goes. But other than that, you know, same as always, really.
Yeah, nice. And the speed running? How's the speed running practice?
Speed running is going pretty well. I noticed though, because I was doing a little practice stream, and I was falling behind, so I decided to go through, because I've mastered pretty much half the game. I was like, fuck it, let's go from the start through the game on like a different account. So I did it, and I kept falling behind, and I was like, I don't really understand why that is. And so I watched my playback alongside his, and the PS3 loads the game stupidly quick. And so I was like, right, well, I don't really know what to do here. And I checked the other runs, and the other runs don't include load times. And usually you don't include load times for the speed run, but the world record guy has. And so I'm like, right, in that case, I don't really know what to do. What I might do is, well, what I think I'm probably going to do is look at the world record, figure out how much his is without load times, and then try and beat that. Because then I'll have done it, and I can submit it and explain what I did. But like, the speedrun page for Assassin's Creed is pretty fucking bare bones. There's like no rules or anything on there or anything. So yeah, it's interesting. But I've been playing it on the Series X, and I went through like with, you know, the Series X load times, which is way faster, and I beat the world record time by the time I got to the midpoint by like 5 minutes or something. So it shows that with those quicker load times, it's...
Well, then can you just do it on the Xbox Series X? Like, why are you bothering with anything else?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know whether they'll be like, well, you can't do it. But then I guess, I don't know. I might have to try and contact someone, or I can just try cutting out load times and doing it that way.
Or somehow buy a PS3 and do it on PS3.
Maybe, but then it controls differently, because on PS3 they switched the high profile button is R1 instead of, like, on Xbox it's right trigger. Which is a bit weird, which might throw me off.
I hate that, but you could surely... Oh, no, it's not... Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Wow, that's fucking shit.
Yeah, I have to figure it out, but... I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be alright in the end.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all tuning in and watching. We've still got a great show to go through in spite of not having Colin on this week. We will hopefully get him on the next episode. We'll sort that out very soon. But we always have to thank the amazing people that make the show happen over at patreon.com/as always. And if you like what you're listening to here or watching here, and you want to see or watch more or listen to more, head over to patreon.com/as always. And for just $1 a month, you get exclusive access to the best podcast on the internet, the Clubhouse Podcast. And you might have seen on James's channel this past week, the yearly public episode went up. It's a phenomenal episode. There's some bits that edited out because they're too juicy for public. So if you want to, know the secrets, head over, be a patron, become an As Always member. So go do that. And obviously we've got our producers to thank. James, who are they?
We do. We've got our boys here. We've got Avery Dobbs, Cat94, Clark 53, Colton the Cream Pie King, Damien, does the name William Miles ring a bell, Flash Paradox, Jesper Olsen, Cassandra Fingers Me with her thick strong arms, King Rich III, Alberic, Raj, Real Kermit Cinema, Ryan Hafer, Tristan Weaver, Viridian, and Ballsack47. Thank you all so much. You're all fucking fantastic. Gamers.
Amazing. Thank you, gamers. It's been a weird week. I'm trying to think back to it. Obviously, I'm not 100% still. I sound like shit.
Mm-hmm.
But, good enough to be here. So I may be a bit off. I'll just give the warning there. But there's been a lot of... I feel like Twitter's become, once again for the last at least week, very Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't hate it. And I'll explain why. Because I feel like...
You can't wait for the next one.
No.
So you can play it.
No, not playing the next one, James. I'm not playing any more.
You just wait. You just wait.
I'll play the old ones, and that's it. Now, what I was gonna say was I don't hate it because you're looking at the guy that's winning right now, and I'm pointing at myself just so everyone's aware. It's not you, James. It's not you.
Yeah.
I feel like a winner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's understandable.
Why do you think I feel like a winner, James?
Well, look.
Tell everyone why I'm a winner.
Look, it's difficult to explain this, right? I don't want to just say, we all agree with you with regards to Valhalla. Because
but just explain to them.
Look, I've always agreed with you with the issues of Valhalla. That what's happening though in this past little bit, and it's sort of coming from playing AC1 a lot, is that the issues that I have are kind of like outweighing the things that I like, at least in my mind. So it's like...
This is how I always felt, and now you're remembering the old games the same way I do.
Yeah, it's one of those weird... Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one because at the same time I do still love a lot of what I loved in Valhalla. Like I still do. It's still all there. But then it's like, it's also the fact that fucking Ubisoft post launch of just, it's getting worse somehow. Yeah. And it's bothering me more, like whether it's like marketing or just the fan base in general. And I'm just like, I just feel so, I just don't like any of it. And it's bothering me.
When's this first expansion come out?
The main DLC, you mean?
Yeah.
We don't know. They said not to expect it before April, I think.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Even that, Druid one?
Yeah, the Druid one, yeah.
Oh, man, I can't wait for them to come out and hear all of you shit on them, because they'll be so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's my... Yeah, I mean, we were talking on Discord, and... I mean, I'm going to call it now. I think both DLCs are going to be absolutely terrible, like Odyssey level terrible.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the case. I don't think there's going to be anything good in there, to be honest. If there is, I'm going to be really surprised, but I think it's going to be just a bunch of tedious bullshit tasks that, some side team has developed, so there's not going to be any joy in them. Darby is not writing them, not involved with the writing team. He said he did some advising on it, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
So I just think I'm gonna be just mad. And the thing is, as I'm playing Valhalla, there are moments as you're playing it that I'm like, oh, this is really cool and I'm really enjoying this. But then when you look back on all of it, it's like, I don't know. Something that I think was something that Jamie said was that Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it means the stuff that happens in the game that you can find, like the assassin stuff and everything that's cool, means more to the Assassin's Creed Wikipedia page than it does to the actual story of the game. And I think that's pretty much the whole thing. And it's just like those things are just bothering me so much more now. And it's just, it's a weird one. And so I've delayed my big Valhalla video until after the DLC as well, because I want just a full picture to be able to say my proper piece. And also I've privated my other Valhalla videos as well that I put out after release, because I just don't agree with them anymore. I think it's a fucking weird one.
Look, at the end of the day, it's easy to forget with how much time passes how different Valhalla is to what Assassin's Creed is. You can get put up into this ball that even I did for the first maybe 8 hours of Valhalla, where you're comparing it to what's come recently. So I'm like, okay, compare it to Origins and Odyssey. Wow, this is doing some, really good things here, and there's assassins there. That's cool. Like, there's things there that all of a sudden you're a bit excited about.
Mm-hmm.
But then, when you really get into it, and I start thinking back to the scope of what I love about Assassin's Creed, and I feel like it's become a bigger discussion now more than it's ever been, even from Odyssey. People are really talking in the community now, not just Four Pillars community, the overall Assassin's Creed community and other content creators are talking about the fact that why did they love Assassin's Creed in the first place? And none of those things are in Valhalla.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Assassin's Creed that I loved in the Ezio trilogy that is in Valhalla. Nothing. Literally nothing.
Interesting.
There's nothing there. There's no urban environment that's, very unique and memorable. And when you look around the map, you know where you are. You don't need to check your map to, I'm in Mercia or Wessex. Like, you can't fucking tell from, looking around the map in Valhalla. You have to go into the map. You can't tell by just looking at the screen, There's no landmarks that are memorable. They're like, I'm here. It's just this massive space, and it all looks the same. And, you go to Florence, you know where you are in Florence. Rome, in Brotherhood, you know where you are. Constantinople, you know where you are. Each districts are distinguished between each other. In the same city, you can tell what area you're in. Think about Venice in Assassin's Creed 2. It's one small city in comparison to the map size there's now. And you had incredible social stealth, like assassin iconography, the Assassin vs. Templar storyline, like everything you'd want from an Assassin's Creed titles in that. Intrigue, mystery, modern day, and Valhalla has zero of those things. It just has zero of those things.
Yeah,
the cities aren't well designed.
Yeah, and it shows even more when you've got this bullshit parkour system that just doesn't work properly at all, and it's just horrible, slow, and sluggish to play. And I think that what's bothering me so much now is that Valhalla did do some things that I really appreciate, and that I guess I wanted, like for example the Desmond audio logs and stuff, codex pages and things, like being able to read those things and listen to those is great, and I love those things. But then when I look at the rest of the game, it's but then there's nothing there, like being able to play AC1 and going into Jerusalem or whatever, and you're going in there and you're an assassin, and you make your way through the front gate, and you're just in this crowded city, and you have to make your way to do the investigations to track your target, and it's that's Assassin's Creed. But Valhalla misses that. So where it might have given me these cool modern day moments and stuff that I like, it then misses everything else, and now I want that more, and it makes me dislike Valhalla more because I want those things so badly. It's I want nothing more at this point than to just play as an assassin and be able to be stealthy and use social stealth and have a hood and be that. There's something about that, and I've just been fucking starved of it. And it's probably the closest that we've had anything that's come close to that is a Ghost of Tsushima that isn't really replicating what it feels like to play Assassin's Creed, but in some elements, you at least in Act 3 when you go full Ghost and you're clearing out these enemy camps using stealth, it feels really satisfying. And it's I wish you could take that and apply it to Assassin's Creed, where you're an assassin, you're part of a brotherhood, you've got your hoods, your hidden blade. I just miss it so much. I just want those things. And people would say well, we'll go play the old games then. It's I've played Assassin's Creed 1 to Revelation so many times. I want something new that does this. I want this again, but new, so that I can relearn it and experience something new again. Because you can only play these games so many times before there's nothing left to explore for you gameplay wise, and you just run out of things. As much as I do still love them, so it's those. It's honestly, it is revisiting those old games and doing this Assassin's Creed ranking, the ranking list thing.
Dude,
has made me love those. That Assassin's Creed 1 to Revelations and then Black Flag, so much more. and it's like just yeah, I don't know. I'm just stuck with Valhalla.
Talk about your ranking video, because I want to do a ranking video now after you've done. I haven't done one for fucking years and years and years. But your one was brilliant, like sitting there, the points you made and what you broke down for each game. I loved it. God, that sounded awful.
Yeah, that did. Fucking hell.
Oh God, that was there's a lot of mucus. I apologize, everybody. But what I found interesting, there's a lot of things I agreed on. But then again, there's a few things I did disagree on. Like, obviously, I agree. Odyssey is the worst game in the franchise, obviously. I actually, Syndicate, Row. Like, I don't want to spoil your whole video. Go watch it. Putting 3 not too far down the bottom, I actually kind of agree with now.
Right.
Because there are things about it that are, at least the things I care about in Assassin's Creed are there in terms of as a game structure more than any recent game. But then, the character's bad, and the writing's bad, the setting's bad, the story's bad.
Yeah.
And what it represented at the time is still awful. But how it stands when you compare, like, playing an actual assassin, having the Assassin vs. Templar philosophical story is there, the gameplay's there, the environments are there, and it still feels, more like Assassin's Creed than anything today. So for that alone, it's still, I don't like it, but it's, I would rank it higher than Syndicate and Rogue even, and more so than Odyssey, obviously. Now Valhalla I'd put in with all those games, though, to me.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think Valhalla fits in the shit games. It's not an Odyssey level, but Assassin's Creed 3, Rogue, Syndicate, it's that level of quality to me. It does nothing. The game does nothing. And I think it's a bit of a joke, to be honest. That's just how I feel personally. I think the whole ending and Monday ending, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. And it won't pay off, just so you all know. You know what I mean? Because it won't pay off.
Yeah, of course it won't.
So unless they make Darby the narrative director for all the games, which they won't, and he's not, someone else is going to get what that storyline is and then make up whatever they want for it. So, all I think is the mistake that Darby made as a writer, and I love him, he knows I love him, I hope, the biggest mistake Darby made as a writer was not just writing the game in itself, if that makes sense. Like, I think my biggest concern thing I didn't like about Valhalla, and this isn't a spoiler, or it's, I guess, a minor spoiler, but I won't say any details, is simply that it didn't end anything. It actually set stuff up, and I'm like, why are you setting things up? No!
Stuff that's not going to go anywhere.
That's almost what bothered me the most about the game. I'm like, what do you guys all like about it? That it set something up? I hate that it set something up, because I know where this is going to go, which is fucking nowhere. And even if it's like, well, what if they do in the DLCs? It's like, well, you just told me he's not even writing the DLCs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, like, you can trust Darby to write his own games all you want, but if he's setting things up for other writers, then what's the point?
Yeah, I think what I liked about the modern day was not so much the setup, I don't really care, but just the fact that it did close a lot of things that I did, I guess, care about. And so that was nice, and, like, that was done, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And, like, the story within Valhalla itself, I enjoyed. Like, the most fun I had was being on stream and, like, trying to piece it all together while, like, I'm doing the truth and, like, the modern day stuff and the fucking god awful mythical arcs. But in doing those things and, like, trying to piece it all together and piece the stories together, it just felt genuinely fun. And, like, I do think that streaming the game had an effect on the way that I guess I remember it, and how I enjoyed it. It was that sense of community, I think, which made it even more fun to go through. So
it's like going to the premiere of the Assassin's Creed movie and thinking the movie's good. It's not though,
it's
is
exactly
it? You know
like
I mean?
that. Yeah. It's just weird, and I don't know. It's like one of those things where, like, bad things always tend to stick out more, and so even though, like, when I came out of Valhalla, I love Valhalla, it's like those good things just sort of fade away and they don't matter anymore. But the stuff that is bad does matter, because it's telling of where, like, what they're doing, and it just bothers me. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because I should just be able to be like, well, I'm just not going to play anymore, fuck it. But, like, at the same time, I don't know. I guess it does bother me. I don't know. It's just weird. I guess it's, like, just sticking up for people who think like we do, I guess.
Yeah,
it's weird, but I've been enjoying playing the old ones, so that's fun, I guess.
And I loved it was a very different ranking at the top as well. Like, obviously, the top 5 is top 5. There's no disputing what the best 5 games in this franchise are, in my opinion. And I think I know you 100% agree with me because I watched your ranking video. But, you know, it's in no particular order, Black Flag, AC1, and the Ezio trilogy. They're 5 great games. And anything outside of that, to me, is bad, other than I think Origins is average. And I would just put this, like, Origins is, like, weird middle game to me. Because I still think Origins is really good. It's, like, in a lot of ways. The story, not so much. But Bayek is an incredible character. From start to finish of the game. The DLCs are actually good in Origins. And they are, like, fun extra stories. And the map of Egypt is actually fucking good. Like, it's a lot of amazing landmarks, a lot of different sorts of areas and environments. And it's a fucking desert place, so you'd think they wouldn't be able to do that, but they did a great job, and I found the tomb exploration of that way better. The modern day secrets were really interesting. Like, I think Origins are fucking way better than Valhalla and way better than Odyssey. In terms of that trilogy.
I can understand
that. In terms of game, I think it has the best combat and stealth of the 3. In terms of mechanics, I think Valhalla did a lot of RPG stuff. You know, it nailed things down a bit better than Origins does. But I mean, I'd still rather play Origins any day than play Valhalla again.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if it's just for Bayek alone.
Yeah, I think Origins, like, combat's better in Origins. It's just much more grounded, and, like, you just sort of feel a bit more connected to what you're doing. Whereas in Valhalla, you kind of just... it's just a bit mental, very Odyssey. Like Origins, sure, it had like this adrenaline moves and stuff, but like that was it. You didn't have all these special abilities like lobbing multiple spears and like doing fucking diving 12 feet into the air or something stupid. Like, it was, just a lot more grounded. It wasn't really an Assassin's Creed combat system, but it was better than, you know, these newer ones. I think Origins and Valhalla to me are very close to each other, but like for different reasons. And it's just like, I feel honestly, if you combine the two, you'd probably be in a pretty good position to make something actually kind of good. But the issue is that Valhalla lacks things that maybe Origins does better, and then Origins lacks things that maybe Valhalla does better. So it's just like, still haven't got it right.
In terms of just pure enjoyment, Origins has it purely for like world and character.
Sure.
And I think the story's better. The story's better in Origins than Valhalla.
Really? I think the story in Origins is pretty fucking shit, to be honest. Sure.
Like, even just like, the characters aren't memorable for sure, but like, it's short. I'd rather be, you know, just for the fact that it's a million times shorter. It's like, at least it's concise. It's not fucking trying too hard. If you play New Game Plus, it's a lot, like you said, it's a lot shorter.
Yeah.
So I don't like the level gating and all that shit, but fucking Valhalla and Odyssey all do that shit. They all do it.
Yeah.
Valhalla's maybe the least guilty, but
Origins is at least like to the point with its story. Like, you can play it through in 6 hours on New Game Plus, and you get the story, and like the story is nothing brilliant. It's like it's one of those like mediocre AC stories. But like,
there's cool moments with.
There's a few like there's like a few cool moments in there. It's a bit of a messy one. It's a bit boring, but like it's one of those. It's familiar though, I think. Like, it feels like you're playing Assassin's Creed when you're playing through the story and you're watching those cutscenes. It's very Assassin's Creed, despite it going in more of an RPG direction. Whereas Valhalla just feels like a kind of just this departure, just like entirely different. And there's so much of it that there's so much more room for it to falter in certain areas. So it's just kind of like, it's just a tough one. And so, I guess I'm just at this point where I'm just not even sure how I feel about the game. And so it's, I don't even know. I'm just gonna wait when the DLC comes out. I'll have a better picture of it. I'll be like, look, this is how they've been treating it post-launch in terms of its different updates. You know, what maybe they've patched or haven't patched, or what are the DLCs like? These new gear, and they put in this new gear thing for the fucking River Raid, and it's just like this reskin of another fucking gear set.
What's the River Raid? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know either. I haven't played it. I think it's just raids, but I think it's like a new area of the map you can go to, or like not go to, but like it's a separate map, I think. And it's an area that's just like countryside and rivers, and you just sail down it and you raid a bunch of places. But like you can only carry a certain amount of loot, and then you have to go back to your ship to deposit the loot, and then you go back to the raiding place to raid more. And that's
Sounds
it.
awful.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
The raids were fucking shit anyway.
The best part of the game. I love a good raid, you know? We need a few more, a couple hundred more, that'd be alright.
Yeah. Well, back to your rankings though. The top 5 there. I mean, you can put them in any order really. They're 5 amazing games. Though, I think I pretty much 100% agree with your list. I pretty much 100% agree with your list. Especially number 1. Because I don't think there's any dispute. Brotherhood's the best Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, of course. Brotherhood had to be there.
Yeah. But I said, before you'd put out your ranking video, I made a tweet last week that said, I've got it up here. Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, everything else can go fuck itself.
Except you censored the word fuck. What was that about, by the way?
I'll tell you why I did it. It's so more people would see it.
Really?
It wouldn't get censored. That's more why I wanted that to happen. And it fucking worked. The thing went fucking crazy. And people got very upset, and it brought in Assassin's Creed Twitter.
That's good. That's what we like.
Yeah, it's what we like. And you know, everyone in Assassin's Creed Twitter was very happy and agreed with me. And that's the end of the story. No, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, it was obviously like, I just had to mute it because I'm like, oh god, I didn't mean for it to be seen that much. Like when I got to maybe like 700 likes, I was like, oh no, I see what's happening here. Fuck. Oh god, what have I done? But I just muted it. I was like, I don't need to see this.
Yeah.
After a while. But then I checked like quoted tweets. Because they're always the most fun. They're always the most fun. And, you know, there's whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I could care less about what anyone else thinks of Assassin's Creed. But someone tweeted, if you don't, I swear, if you don't like AC3, you're anti-native, and I stand by that.
Yeah, what a great tweet.
Yeah, pretty much calling me, like, racist. You know what I mean? Because I don't like Assassin's Creed 3.
So funny.
And I must hate Native Americans.
You must. You have to.
A group of people I've never had anything to do with because I'm not from America. So
good question though. Why have you had nothing to do with them, Tyler? You must hate them. You've been avoiding them?
Yeah, I've been avoiding them.
For fuck's sake.
I don't think I've like ever met a Native American person. Like,
well, you got to change that.
When would I have? I've been to America, but I went to LA and New York.
You went to America and you didn't meet a Native American person. That is racist. What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I'm a bad guy, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But I was called... someone else responded to that tweet and goes, he's a white Australian, so yeah, he's definitely anti-Indigenous. Like, wow.
So funny.
That was a joke, apparently. That was just a joke. So, but
apparently,
you know, it's easy to take. I mean, I didn't care. I just laughed. And you know, for being called racist on Twitter for my opinion on video games. You know what I mean? Like, it's bizarre. And they don't know me. That's why I don't care. Like, it's not anyone that knows me or has had a real conversation with me and knows how I actually feel. You know, about Indigenous Australians, or you know, knows how I feel about just fucking. I'm definitely not racist. Like I was obviously super sick last week when this was all going on, and I was at like isolating with my girlfriend.
Yeah. And
I laughed, and she's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's stupid." Like, look, okay, so I said my opinion on a video game, and Twitter's gone mental, and people are getting very upset, and people call me racist. And she laughed, and she goes, have you told them that your girlfriend's a brown person? And I'm like, I don't need to tell. Like, I'm not gonna. Well, like, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like I'm not gonna say it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm so racist, but my girlfriend's brown, so that's fine.
You're racist.
You know, I'm racist.
It's true.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's just hilarious. I just had a very good laugh.
I've been going through them now. I'm just looking at them, all the quote tweets, and my god, there's some dumb shit in here.
Is there?
It's so weird. Like, this guy just goes, "You go fuck off. Valhalla is the best game they dropped." So he's not too happy about that. You should really have been acknowledging his opinion. When you tweeted that, you didn't really take Mojay's opinion into consideration, unfortunately.
I should have thought about Mojay.
You should have thought about him. And you didn't.
About Mojay.
Yeah, you should have done it. Also, the Mighty, Jam the Mighty, you should have been thinking about him because he quoted with all of his opinions. And he's, he calls himself, he's a devoted Assassin's Creed fan. So, he's a devoted Assassin's Creed fan that says AC1 was basic as hell. So, he's,
Devoted.
Devoted, yeah. 100%.
I swear, if anyone says that Assassin's Creed 1's a bad game, you're... You know what I mean? Like, your opinion's gone. Like, that's the end.
Look.
You're not one of us.
If Assassin's Creed 1...
You can think that. You can think Assassin's Creed 1's bad, but you're not one of us. You're not the purists. You're the new fan. You're a new fan.
Yeah, look, if you think Assassin's Creed 1 isn't good and you're like, Assassin's Creed 1 wasn't good, I think maybe you just don't like Assassin's Creed. That's really what it comes down to. Because how can you dislike Assassin's Creed but be an Assassin's Creed fan? You're just kind of not. I feel like you just don't actually like Assassin's Creed. And it's those people that they played AC1 and they were like, oh, this game needs this needs to be, easier. There needs to be no modern day bad. Our main character got to be more funny. And we're just like, no, I don't like it. It's bad. And then Ubisoft slowly, changed to cater to these people that
Man, it's
don't like the franchise.
Yep.
I love making my game for people that don't like my game. That's well done.
Yeah,
you've nailed it.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, but I think what I've come to the conclusion of is, we need to become just AC1 to Revelation Stan accounts on Twitter and our YouTube channels.
I'm happy about that.
I'm trying to find a way to do that, because obviously I have such an Assassin's Creed audience. People are like, you can't not do Assassin's Creed videos. And it's like, I don't not want to do Assassin's Creed videos. I genuinely don't not want to do. I just don't want to play any new games anymore. That's all I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I have no problem making Assassin's Creed videos, but I only want to make them on Assassin's Creed 1 to Revelation.
Actual Assassin's Creed games.
I don't actually want to make Black Flag videos. It just doesn't make sense. I love the game. I'll stream it and stuff, but that's why I'm doing the real life history videos. But I'm actually not interested in doing real life history videos on any of the newer games because I just don't give a shit about I don't care. I don't even want to focus on it. So for at least for a while, I just want to focus on the first 4 games and do real life history of that. My next video, I'm focusing on the Borgias. I'm doing real life history of the Borgias and talking about them because I fucking love that. Their real history. I love the Showtime show with Jeremy Irons in it. And, my first real life history video I did, I only did 2 last year. And it was... the first one went really well. Real life history of the town. It's got 50,000 views. I was like, oh yeah, no, decent. It's blown up again. It's gotten it's getting 7,000 views a day. It's at nice. 90,000 views now. And I'm like, okay, here we go. It's picking up and I'm getting subscribers from it. It's good timing.
That's good.
Because I only did 2 and it took so long. I did one. I was trying to do 1 a month and I was like, I just don't have time. COVID hit. Crazy shit happened. Now I'm part-time. I got more time to focus on it and I can still do other videos and do the real life history videos. So that's what I want to focus on. But I'll still do Assassin's Creed videos generally here and there, but they'll be 1 to Revelations, ranking Assassin's Creed games. What I love about Assassin's Creed 1, it could be anything, I don't know. But it'll be those are the games I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
And reminisce about. But it's a good time for that real life history video to blow up because now's when I'm about to work on more. I was supposed to put it out this week, but all my everything's been delayed a week. So I'm putting out a Fable video this week while also working on this real life history one. Hopefully comes out end of next week. Is the plan. But
that's cool.
That's what I want to talk about. That's the shit that's interesting to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm just happy. I said on Twitter that what I hated so much about being an AC focused channel was that I had to talk about games that I didn't like and that weren't for me. And I think that's what killed it for me. I just hated that I was involved in these discussions that I didn't really feel like I should be a part of. To sit here and be Origins misses this thing, or Valhalla, whatever, or Odyssey, you know, and people are just being like, oh, take off your rose tinted glasses, you're stuck with the nostalgia, and it's like, I just can't deal with this. Like 70% of the fucking Assassin's Creed fan base now loves what this new thing is, and have never played an Ezio game. I've never played AC1, and so you just don't get it. These are they're two different franchises at this point. Assassin's Creed now and Assassin's Creed as it used to be, they're two different products. They're two different games. And so what I'm a fan of is classic Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Classic, we can call it. That's what I'm a fan of. Modern Assassin's Creed, I'm not a fan of. Those games aren't for me. Talking about them is just, there's just no point. There's no point in doing it. It's like, honestly, it's like the difference between the classic Tomb Raider games and the rebooted Tomb Raider games. They're different products that are catering to different audiences, and that's why you end up splitting audiences like that. And it's the same with Assassin's Creed. I'm just not interested in these new games. Really, they don't do the things that I fell in love with the franchise for. Like there's something about those original games that was just so engaging for me on a gameplay and story level that they don't make those games anymore though. So I just do want to talk about, you know, AC1 to Revelations and Black Flag, because I love those games, and those are, you know, those are Assassin's Creed games. That's what I want to talk about. I don't really have any interest in anything else. Yeah,
same. We're on the same page, buddy. We're on the same page.
That's good.
But you're gonna still play the next game.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Unless it's not Sophia, unless it's Quebec. I won't if it's Quebec.
Yeah.
Not touching it. I won't play anything Quebec, mate, because I'm just not. Dude, I can't put myself through that again. But anything else, I'll play. Regardless of whether it looks good or not, I'll just play it anyway. Because why not?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I can't. I can't do any of them anymore. Because if Montreal couldn't do it, Derby couldn't do it, no one's doing it. It's over.
Yeah.
But I also, like you said, they're two different franchises, and they have been for so long, and I should have realised it way sooner, but here we are. Yeah. Yeah, there's little bits of hope. There's little things that throughout, like, give you those trickles, and eventually, you know, I just kept getting tricked and honey-dicked, and I'm done. I'm done being honey-dicked, and that's the end of it. And as much as everyone will be, and still, unironically, comment on my Valhalla review, no one actually thinks this fucking fool's not going to play the next Assassin's Creed game.
Of course he will.
We all know he is a lol. Of course he will. Well,
you will. You're going to do it. I can't wait until, you know, the next game rolls around and you're like, oh, Ubisoft gave me a code. I'll play it anyway, you know? I'll flick on the old PlayStation.
They'll give me a code, but I won't play it.
You play Assassin's Creed Richard the Lioness.
The only way I'd play anything new would be like if it was like a remake of Assassin's Creed 1. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the old game.
People keep saying to me, right, talk about remake of Assassin's Creed 1. Like, oh, they should remake AC1. And I'm like, look, if you want to know what a remake of AC1 would be like, if you really think that would be a good thing, just go play the fucking City Arcs in Valhalla. That is what an AC1 remake would be like. And it's just far inferior to the actual Assassin's Creed 1. So they'd ruin it. They'd fucking butcher it. People are still like, but they should remake it. This is why we need a remake, because you could do side quests. I don't know, or something. It would be bad.
If it was a remaster, it'd be different.
Yeah, just don't touch it.
I mean, like a 4K texture remaster only. Then yeah.
Well, the only thing I want at this point is like a Blue Point remaster, like a Shadow of the Colossus or a Demon's Souls, where it's the same game. It just looks a million times better. That's it. That's all I do.
What about Bloodlines, like, added in at the end and
well, see, that's
the consoles?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing.
Doing it like a Kingdom Hearts remix sort of thing does, you know?
I mean, if they... Yeah, I mean, I guess... If Bloodlines... I guess it's like in an ideal world type thing. If they could make Bloodlines play exactly like console AC1...
Yeah.
And make it look great, then yeah, I would like that, but it just wouldn't happen. And that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh yeah, I get what you're saying, James, like to have AC1 but like a Demon's Souls remake. But what if they did all of Altair's Life? And I'm like, yeah, maybe if this was, you know, back in the day, I'd be like, oh, that'd be really cool. That you know, they could try and do that. But these days, like, it would be a fucking disaster. It'd be an insult, and I can't even like say like
no, you're right.
It's difficult for me to even say like, oh, in an ideal world it'd be cool, because I just don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. No,
because
I
they're just
understand.
so bad at making games.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I get it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry for even bringing it up.
Yeah, I'm upset.
Yeah. I'm sorry for even bringing it up.
I'm broken.
Something I just want to throw out there. To move off Assassin's Creed, we're done with Assassin's Creed today. We've talked about it for 4 minutes. It's over. That's views. You know what I mean?
Lovely. You can go in the title.
Subscribe to the Four Pillars Network, ladies and gentlemen. And check out our other shows. We've got amazing shows. The Past Cast just debuted last week, talking about Red Dead Redemption. Did very well. Got weekly Streamcast, which is an amazing show. If you're following WandaVision, follow that. And then Falcon Winter Soldier after that.
Yep.
We're going to talk about both of those things in a minute, but I'll throw out there something we're working on, or I'm working on as a project, because something we do here at As Always Entertainment, through the As Always podcast and our other shows, is we don't just talk about video games. We like to talk about movies and TV shows we love.
Should stay in your lane, Tyler.
We love having
a
laugh.
Video gamer.
I'm not just a video gamer.
You are.
I'm
putting you in this box.
I have a lot of passions. I'm working on a project for sort of fitness and health side of things for As Always on the Patreon that I hope to debut in March, sometime probably towards the end of March, early April.
That's going to be cool.
That I'm just trying to work out how to produce it as a piece of content. That's the hardest part right now. It's like, I know the concept, like I know the goal. I know what I want to achieve from it. I know the different aspects that I'm going to cover. I know how I want the community to interact with it. And that's all well and good, but how do I actually deliver it is my struggle right now.
Yeah.
But something else outside of that is music. Now, I'm not a musician, but one of my closest friends who I live with, because of my background, there's a lot of shit in the background here. There's weird towels hanging up. People are like, what the fuck is that? Well, that's soundproofing shit, because we've had been recording, and there's electric guitar, beautiful electric guitar Strat that you see behind me, that is David Jerome's. Last week in this studio, recorded Deck of Cards, which is David Jerome's debut song.
It's a good song.
He wrote almost 2 years ago. He's got a lot of originals, and it's just been like that waiting point until the right time, until he was ready. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of emotions involved when you're an artist like David is. But what we've done is we've recorded and finished Deck of Cards. I've listened to it. It's incredible.
Nice.
And it's done. It's now done. So tomorrow, we're going to be filming the video for it. At the time we're recording this, tomorrow we're going to be filming the video for it. Today we're going to plot it out a bit. I've already got a good idea of what I want it to look like. But that's where I come in. So obviously I helped him record the song, and he would show me bits as he's sort of making it, and we work together on producing the song. But I'm the videographer. I'm the guy that's going to film and edit it. So stay tuned for that, because Deck of Cards is going to be dropping this week sometime. With the video as well alongside it. I'd like to think we film it tomorrow and it goes up tomorrow, because I can edit them pretty quick, like in a couple of hours. So we'll see. That might very well happen. But nice. I know what David can be like with some minor little things. He might be like, no, this needs to be almost perfect. So we'll see what happens, but it'll be this week. Deck of Cards will be out. So nice. It'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, once we work out how to do that. I've got a good idea how to do that. We've looked into it before. So hopefully there's not a long review period. I think that's the only thing I'm worried about with time, is once you upload it, does it take days? I know Spotify can be pretty quick. They're quick with that podcast. It takes 2 hours for them to review it, but Apple Music can take 24 to 48 hours. So that might be the only delay for things, but I'm hoping we can just get it all out really quick. But the video for it should be out this week for sure. Will be out this week for sure.
That's exciting. I can't wait.
So it is, and it's the best the song's ever sounded. It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
And he's now so motivated to keep going.
That's good.
He had the best time. He loved doing it. So been talking to him about the other songs he wants to get out there, and this year will just be literally one by one, not some full EP. It's just produce the song, make a video, release it, get it out there, and then he can still go to the producers that he wants to do once he's done his own mixes, and it could one day down the road, end of the year, next year, be released as a full album that's been produced by a producer, and they'll sound different and remastered. But
cool.
There's no point in not putting out songs now. He's got the songs. So if you don't know now, go to David Jerome's channel. It's on my channel. Down the bottom, it's a featured channel link.
Nice.
Check out our Last of Us Part 2 covers we filmed and did there, if you like some video game content and music. And then, stay tuned for Deck of Cards. It's an incredible song. And we've even been writing some stuff, and I've got... there may even be an As Always exclusive song as well.
Ooh.
That Dave and I were actually writing last night. So, if you love As Always,
nice.
we've got stuff for you. So it's what it is.
That's
and
good.
Speaking of the devil, David Jerome's just walked into the room.
It's the man himself.
Yeah, the man himself.
I won't be appearing on camera. I'm still waking up.
Yeah, you look terrible, but it's fine.
Yeah, I got your fucking sickness, you cunt.
Yeah, are you really sick?
Yeah.
Oh no, dude, I'm so sorry.
I just woke up and I was like, oh, my throat hurts.
Oh god.
That's right. I'm not it's not super bad.
Okay.
I never got the aches that you got, but.
Yeah, okay, that's good. You're in for a rough week, my friend. But yeah, so that's the guitar in the background is David Jerome. So if you like some good music, you're gonna get it very soon when Deck of Cards drops.
Great stuff.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to
Nice.
let's talk about WandaVision?
All right. WandaVision, yeah.
Are you up to date with it?
I am up to date.
Yeah. What how you feel? Obviously, we're not going to spoil it. That's for the Streamcast podcast on the Four Pillars Network.
Indeed.
What are you feeling about it? What are you feeling about it right now?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm still into it. I'm still enjoying it. There's still questions to be answered, and whatnot. And I like that. I like the way the show's moving along. It hasn't just stayed, because what I thought would happen with the show is that, it would take until the very end of the show to fully figure out what was going on. But that's not really what's happened. I think it's picking up pace as it goes. And I quite like that. It's like, once they pull the veil back on, the stuff you're wondering in the first couple episodes, they throw more things in. They're like, well, why is this thing happening? And how did this, work? And what's this person doing? And stuff like that. So I quite like that about it. And I just think it's just really fucking engaging and just a really, really good time. So yeah, I'm having a good time with it. And it's exciting week to week. Just, jumping back in every Friday.
Yeah, it is fun. I think the longer it goes, the more it's like the we're back with Marvel sort of feeling wears off, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, it is a very enjoyable piece of content, but it's also such a weird vibe of the show, and it's a weird way to see these characters, especially with Wanda and Vision. Like, it's so weird, don't you think? Like,
it is weird
to look at them this way.
It is weird
because they're superheroes. But you're not looking at them like superheroes anymore. And that's the strangest part. And I don't know whether I like that or not. I've sort of got to wait till the end.
I love that about it. I just think it's so amusing. Like, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it that's just so enjoyable to watch. And it is weird because it's like, these are like the heroes we've seen since Age of Ultron. And now it's like, it's just such a different like lens we're seeing them through. But I really do like it. And I think that it's still amusing. I think the sitcom stuff is still really well handled and like funny and well put together, where it's like, mimicking famous shows and stuff. I think it's really fun. And yeah, I'm just overall having a really good time with it. I think it's still got me. And I'm looking forward to see where they go with it and how they end up wrapping this up and what it leads into for the future of the MCU, I guess.
I'm curious, and I guess this is maybe a minor spoiler in the sense of, I mean, at some point the show's going to end, and so that means the sitcoms will end. Is there any more they're going to do? I feel like the sitcoms are over now.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Where, like, what do they do? Yeah, I don't know. How many
episodes are there in this?
I have no fucking idea, to be honest with you.
Because it sounds like people said 9. I'm like, that's such a weird fucking number of episodes. Is it 8 or is it 10? Or is it 9? That's so weird. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Let's see. Let's fucking see how many. Number of episodes. Yeah, okay, well that's not. No, okay, I don't know. It just says 7, but obviously it's not 7 because
Yeah.
that's the I think it says 9 episodes. It says on IMDb. I think.
That's so weird. Why 9?
Don't know. Why 9?
Because I heard it's the same with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. 9 episodes?
Yeah, I don't know. That is odd.
Yeah, I'm not.
Literally, it's an odd number.
It's odd. Okay, so do you think now for episode 8 and 9, are we done with the sitcoms? Is it just sort of like break away from that?
Maybe
because we've sort of gone through all the decades.
Yeah, there's not really much more you can do now. With that, so I think so. I think that's what'll happen, maybe. Or maybe they'll combine all of them, and you're sort of going through them all again, like as this big jumble of the different eras, maybe. But I don't know. Whatever they decide to do, I think I'm on board for it. I'm interested to see, how they decide to wrap this up and where it leads, because that's important, obviously.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit nervous of how this all ends, because I feel like it's setting up a lot. This show is a big deal.
It's done a few things
with the future movies, especially with the idea of potentially a multiverse. But then again, after that last episode, I'm not sure if that's really what it's introducing, but perhaps. But there's so many questions after the end of that last episode. So definitely excited. Sure. But that leads into there's another Marvel show that we can talk about way more because it hasn't come out yet, so there's no spoilers to sort of dance over. But Falcon the Winter Soldier's next up, only a few weeks away.
It is, yeah.
What's
close.
the date for the first episode?
March the something or other. I don't know. We're both checking at the same time. I don't know. I can't find it.
19th of March.
Yeah, I saw it as well, as you said it. Yeah, 19th of March. Yeah, so just under a month away. And then we're straight into that. So a little bit of a break after WandaVision, and then right back into it again.
It's 1 week break.
1 week, yeah. A week's break. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. It's another show that we haven't seen a lot of compared to with the same with WandaVision. We didn't really see a lot beforehand. We saw bits and pieces, but watching the show is an entirely different experience. You couldn't have guessed any of this really from the trailers. There's a lot more going on, at least in terms of general storytelling. So that's going to be interesting to see how the show Falcon and the Winter Soldier differs from the marketing for the show itself, which is exciting. It's exciting. So it should be good.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's enough from the trailer, especially the most recent ones. There was, just seeing a lot more, because I feel like the first trailer that dropped was sort of they're not really. There wasn't a lot of focus on Sam, and there wasn't a lot of focus really at all on either of their character journeys, if that makes sense. Because obviously these two have a lot of things to go through.
Yeah.
Bucky he's now just entering this world as not a villain, really, because after Civil War, he came good during that movie, but then Infinity War, he'd been in between those movies. He'd been off for 2 years in hiding in Wakanda, away from the world, and then he got blipped, and then he's back now, and there's no Steve. So his greatest ally and someone to represent him to world governments and to the other Avengers is gone. So he's got a storyline of one, redemption, but also finding his place in this modern world, because Steve had to find it, as in himself, and Bucky's the same. He's over 100 years old. He's a man out of time too.
Yeah, that's true.
How does he find his place as who he is in this world? And maybe this is where he's meant to be, whereas we know Steve, this wasn't where he's meant to be. He was a man out of time, and perhaps it's not the same for Bucky. Perhaps, it's a reinvention and a rebirth, and that's what this will be for him. But we haven't seen any hints of that, right, in the trailers. It just looks like an action, spec ops sort of special agent movie similar to like a Winter Soldier, which is great. Winter Soldier's the best superhero movie of all time, in my opinion. But where do you land on the way the trailers are marketing this show?
Yeah, I think
what you want to see from it.
Yeah, I think you just got to hope that the trailers are marketed that way. One, to hide potential important story moments, which Marvel have been getting really good at doing since Endgame. Even before that, but Endgame did really good marketing, and I think WandaVision did too. Spider-Man was,
Sony.
Yeah, Sony are a disaster, but that's all right. I just hope that the trailers that's not the focus of the show. I just hope it's the focus of the trailers, because obviously that stuff's really cool, like being that, like, you know, the same genre and type of movie that Winter Soldier was in the form of a show. But the important thing about Marvel is character, and hopefully that's a huge focus, which I don't see how it couldn't be. They always get character right. So I would assume it's quite integral to the show, and that's probably why they're not showing a lot of it, because it's sort of the point of the show. Whereas, you know, you've got, like, with WandaVision, the trailers were mostly centered around... I mean, there really wasn't a lot there. Like, there really wasn't. It was mostly just showing a few sitcom bits and pieces, and, like, it was amusing, and, like, what the hell is this? But then when you actually watch the show, you realize there's so much more to it. There's so many more layers that they add. So hopefully it's the same with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that, you know, there is all these action set-piece moments. Like, that's all really cool. But then you strip it back and there's so much more character in there than what the trailer's laying on. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first hint, you know, I mean, I wanted to talk a bit about Bucky's character, mainly because I feel like we all sort of forget. You know, it's called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, Bucky is the other main character of the show.
Yeah.
And I mean, a good thing the trailers have been focusing on is the relationship between Sam and Bucky, because that's the third element. You've got Bucky's individual character arc, and now Sam's individual character arc, but you also got them together as their own team. And they're dynamic, and they have a great dynamic, and the trailers have been focusing on that, which is great, and it's, you know, it's one I look forward to seeing on full display when the show releases. But we all knew that going in. We knew what Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie were going to do together. They're going to be a great team. They're going to be a great team. I guess my thing that I've noticed with the most recent sort of TV spots and drops have been we're finally seeing a bit more of the Shield. Yeah. Have you seen that 30-second TV spot and you saw a bit more of Sam with the Shield?
I think so. I think I've seen it.
Yeah. So does that... it's giving me comfort. Is that giving you comfort that that's the storyline we're going to get with him?
Yeah, it's nice to see. Because I guess I did think... I mean, before the show, we had any trailers or whatever, I guess my thought process going into it was like, well, it's got to be about, you know, very focused on Sam, you know, like, obviously at the end of Endgame, Steve gives him the shield, and it's like, you know, him taking on this mantle of Captain America that Steve trusted him with, and being able to take that on and learn about it. And then when you see some of the trailers, you're like, oh, is that what they're doing? Or is he just still going to be, you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier together doing their thing? But, like, then you see, you know, more shots of him with the shield, and it's like, okay, so it looks like that's clearly a large part of this. I'm just worried that the lesson he learns, because I want to see Falcon become Captain America. I want him to take on that role and feel like it fits him. What I don't want the show to do is by the end him go, I don't need to be Captain America, I can be Falcon or whatever. It would kind of feel like a betrayal of Steve. And I guess I'm kind of worried that's what they might do. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope it is everything that I want it to be. But I guess we're not going to know until March 19th.
Well, the latest TV spot had Sam saying, as an old friend once said, a good friend of mine once said, the price of freedom is high.
It always has been. Yeah. Like, I don't think I've actually seen this.
Oh, okay. Do you wanna watch it?
I can do. Where is it?
Let's watch it. Yeah. So there's a few things in that. You see a bit more with. I mean, that feels like a Sam trailer.
Yeah. At the end, you've got like the Disney Plus logo in front of the Captain America shield as well, which is a nice bit of symbolism there. Just having that shield always on display. Yeah, which is quite nice. I'm wondering though, if this show goes down the route of not Sam becoming Captain America, but the two of them becoming the symbol of Captain America, because you've got Sam throws the shield at the end, and then Bucky catches it.
Yeah.
After, and I'm like, are they gonna go down the route of, actually both of them they learn to work together so well as a team that they both represent what Captain America is? And I don't know if I like that as a theory that I've just said.
Yeah, I don't like it either, because Bucky has too much baggage he needs to redeem, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's a part of Steve, but his character's got his own journey to go on. And
he's also not Cap. Like, he's not got those same qualities, whereas Sam does. It's like Sam and Steve identify with each other pretty much instantly because they were so similar. So, yeah, I don't want them to go down that route. I just don't... Bucky's not... That's why Steve didn't give Bucky the shield. Because it's, you know... It's obviously not the right choice. So I hope that's not what they do. But... Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool trailer, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's what they do, but there's a lot of, like... They're just moments with Sam back in Winter Soldier. You know, you've got that Steve line he reads, but then at the end he goes, where do we start? And then the last line of Winter Soldier is, when do we start? So there's, you know, being a show that's like the Winter Soldier, there's nothing more I would love to see than that. So, it's very exciting. And the shield's in the logo. The shield's obviously a massive part of the story, and we're just not seeing that yet. There's so much we haven't seen. And we haven't talked so much about US Agent either.
Oh, yeah.
You see in the poster, like, Sam loses the shield very early, if not the first episode. I assume it's because of the Sokovia Accord. They assume it as government property.
Probably, yeah.
And they give it to US Agent, played by Wyatt Russell. Now, I assumed he was just going to be some random fucking dude, and he's just a bit of a joke and a mascot, because we've seen him, like, there's that shot of him running onto the field like at a football game, and he's dressed like Captain America and all that. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Like, people are saying he's going to be a villain. Like, what would make him a villain? Because we've obviously got Zemo is back. I can't imagine he's the main villain. Even George St. Pierre, like, as that French-Canadian pirate from the Winter Soldier, he's back in Falcon Winter Soldier. So there's a lot of, like, Captain America villains from the trilogy back. But then you got US Agent. Do you feel like in this poster you see this, like, evil-looking Captain America with the shield?
Yeah.
In the poster, what do you think of US Agent, and what role will he play?
I don't know. I guess I never thought about it. I suppose... I guess I don't think he'd be like a villain, but you know, maybe this, you know, Captain America was always about fighting the government as well. If he felt that it wasn't acting in the best interest of the people, so potentially, you know, them taking the shield, them saying no, Sam isn't, you know, Captain America. We're having our own Captain America and US Agent. Sort of becomes a villain by necessity almost. So like he's not a villain because he's a bad guy, but he's a villain because he's like the face of this government that are trying to stop actual heroes from helping people. So maybe, you know, you'll see maybe Sam fight US Agent or something or whatever, but it's not because US Agent's an evil villain doing evil things. It's just because like he is the government's guy. They're sort of they're Captain America that they've chosen.
Is he a super soldier of some kind?
Don't know.
Or is he a symbol? Because you sort of see a shot in that start trailer of like him with the shield sort of crouched down. It looks very creepy. It doesn't seem like... The more I see, the more I'm like, I actually think he's going to be a legit bad guy.
Interesting.
Because it looks like Sam and Bucky are on like government missions. They have like people with them. And
yeah,
then,
true, they do. Yeah.
You know, you've got Sharon Carter's there, working with them. And she's obviously not, there's no shield anymore. Is she with SWORD? Is there another government agency? Like, who are Sam and Bucky working with? Are the Avengers still together? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, true. That's a good point. That is a good point. There's a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions.
Because Sam was an Avenger. After Age of Ultron, He was an Avenger.
Yeah, and the Avengers...
at the Avengers facility. You see it in Ant-Man, you see it in Civil War, you see it in Infinity War.
Yeah,
or
I
in
think...
Infinity War, they've more run off.
Well, that's the thing.
Steve.
Like, post Civil War, the Avengers don't really exist. And even in, Infinity War and Endgame, they exist as a group, but not, officially. So after they stop Thanos and they bring everyone back, where do the Avengers stand? Especially with Tony Stark gone. The one that, had sorted all of their equipment and fucking bases and all that shit, that was sort of in charge of that stuff. Where do the Avengers stand now? They've lost their leader as well, with Steve being gone. So I feel like the government is...
there's no Thor, there's no Steve, there's no Tony. The big three are all gone.
So the people at Natasha as well.
Yeah.
And it's where
Hawkeye's not coming back. We know he's fuck the government, and then Hulk's a cripple. So
yeah.
The original 6, there's literally, they're gone.
The Avengers basically don't exist anymore. So it's what's their replacement? Is it the government trying to step in so they've got protection on the scale of the Avengers, but without the Avengers? So you're doing their own
Something
thing.
they can control a bit better.
Yeah, exactly. So that'd be interesting to see. I mean, you see Sam and Bucky in that jet or whatever it is.
Surely they didn't just get that.
But maybe they're working, with very little resources, working, with each other and with Sharon Carter and whoever else. This small ragtag team almost, maybe. Rather than actually officially working for the government, which makes sense, I think. So it's all about fighting for freedom and about, I guess, re-establishing the Avengers in some way, potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be done here. Be done here.
No.
Because there's a long road before the next team-up movie. We know that. It's, we don't even know when movies are going to come out for Marvel. So it's a long road before there's any team-up movies. And there's obviously a lot of new people to introduce. We've got the new Black Widow we're going to get once this fucking Black Widow movie finally releases.
One day.
A new Captain America. To set up a Captain America movie down the line as well. There's talks of Chris Evans coming back as well.
Yeah, we have seen that.
What is that?
Who knows? Interesting.
Is there a... how would you want him to come back? If Chris Evans signs on, he's like, yeah, I'll come back. What do you want? What do you want?
I don't really know. It's a weird one. If he was going to come back, I don't think I'd want it soon. I'd want it down the line.
Yeah, agreed.
And for a smaller role that means a lot character-wise. That's probably all I can really say.
If they do a Captain America 4, right, and it's starring Anthony and Sebastian obviously would be in it. I'd happily see Steve in that. I feel like he'd have to be in the movie. He's not dead. He's old. You know what I mean? If it was old Steve and he's there to be that, voice of wisdom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. I'll be cool with that.
Yeah. And it's nothing majorly drastic. It's not him coming back from... Other than that, the only way you can do it is 5 years they do a team-up movie and all is about to fail and fucking Steve Rogers comes back from time warp, Yeah. During that period. Or is there a movie, and this is a big, wild statement, is there a movie or story to be told about the this next era is definitely multiverse focused. They're being very careful with how slow they're introducing the concept to make sense to people. But eventually it's going to be a full-fledged concept that's active in the MCU. The last time we saw Steve as a younger Captain America, the last time we saw him as Captain America, he went back in time to put the stones back. Who knows what he could have learnt, found out, gone through, putting all those stones back. Is there a movie there?
Yeah.
That then links somehow to all the events that are then going to happen later or have happened or are happening in this next generation? Is there a movie there? I'm not willing to say there's not. He can fucking wield Mjolnir.
That's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept. You can even have like a Disney Plus show of Captain America visiting, trying to put all these stones back. Like, what shit did he go through? I'd like to see how he interacted with fucking Red Skull.
They can't afford Chris Evans. They can't afford Chris Evans in a show.
I mean, I don't know.
They can't
like when they're doing these things on the same scale as what they're doing with these movies. I don't know. Disney have
but they're not paying Anthony Mackie, or they're not doing a Chris Evans TV show. They're not doing it. Because just him being in a Captain America movie, do you know how much money they're making? Over $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but
they're not gonna put it on Disney Plus.
I think it's unlikely, but I mean, I don't know. Disney have the money. I don't know whether it's something they want to do, but yeah, I don't know. But there's probably a story in there you could tell if you wanted to. Whether that's what they're doing or not, who knows?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Chris Evans has said he knows nothing about it, but I mean, he would say that.
He would say that.
Yeah.
It's like Ewan McGregor knows nothing about an Obi-Wan movie or show. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But I guess we'll have to wait to see how they do it. I mean, I trust them to handle it well. So I guess I just don't really care, because when it happens, it'll happen, and I'll be like, that was good. They did a good job. Or maybe they didn't, and I don't like it, but I doubt it.
They haven't failed us yet, you know?
No, they've not.
There's been average things, but they haven't, like, in the grand scheme of what matters, they've never failed.
No, they've never shown that they don't get it, which is good. That's good. That's promising.
Yeah. As long as Kevin Feige's there, we're fine.
Yeah, he's doing biz.
Yeah. Yeah, well. Looking back at this past week, Horsey and Fox.
Yeah.
Horsey and Fox returned. How did that go? I haven't had a chance to check it out because I was away all weekend.
Yeah, it was good. It was really fucking good to get back, play some Melody of Memory. We had a good time with it.
Did you finish it?
No, we did not finish it. It's so much harder on Proud Mode. We managed to get through Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories. And then next week we'll be going into 358 and then through Kingdom Hearts 2, and we'll see how we get with those. But it was just really good fun. We had a bunch of people there. It was like an average view count of like 100 people, which was great for Horsey and Fox numbers.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a good fucking laugh. So it was good. Community was out in full force. It was good fun.
I haven't talked to you much about Melody of Memory, because I haven't played it yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of Melody of Memory in terms of story? Did it give you good story following on from Kingdom Hearts 3, without necessarily spoiling anything?
Yeah, there's not a lot of it. There's not a lot of story. I mean, there's a decent like chunk, because the only story you get is right at the end when you finish the main game. You get a cutscene, or a couple. You get a few cutscenes, which is full of information and stuff, and really sets up where they're going next. So I think overall as a game, like I really enjoy the game itself. The story that they gave was, while there wasn't a lot of it, there were some really cool moments in there, and sets up what comes next in a way that sort of is it's pretty obvious where they're going and what they're going to do in the next main title, or next title in general. So that's fun. So it just sort of gives you this bigger picture of like, yeah, okay, I see where we're going now. Yeah, it links it in with Remind and stuff, and it's just good. Do you feel
like there'll be another side game between Melody of Memory and Kingdom Hearts 4?
I'm not sure. I think the next game could be KH4, and it could be a very different KH game than what we're used to. But I feel like what they're doing is almost too big to be a side game.
Okay.
It feels like it could be KH4, or maybe I don't know. Maybe there is a side game to do there leading into a KH4. I don't know though.
Or is it setting up multiple things? Because there's a lot set up at the end of Remind.
Yeah, well,
with so many of our characters.
Yeah, it sets.
Unless you do a 4 and they're all involved, or is it like 3 different stories at the same time?
It's difficult to explain without spoiling it, but I think the direction is pretty clear as to what they're doing. But then there are other things that they do set up, like tying into potentially Union Cross things, and like the ancient Keyblade wielders. and how that links to Scala ad Caelum and Daybreak Town, and there's lots of elements that link that I think is really cool. That Yensid is sort of giving out these directions, like you do this, you do that, to sort of, I think there's a clear main direction they're going in, but then there are these little side things that maybe they'll just be like things that we'll see. So like in KH3, the main story is obviously Sora doing what he's doing, but then sometimes you'll phone up Mickey and Riku and see what they're doing. Like Mickey and Riku went to the Realm of Darkness, and then they were just wandering about Radiant Garden or whatever. Potentially, in a KH4, you've got the main focus, but then, what are these other characters doing on their little missions that they've been sent off on? Or maybe those are games you can actually follow in little side games. So who knows what they do with that? But I think the main direction is pretty clear by the end of Melody of Memory.
Yeah, wow, okay. Well, I really need to get onto playing this.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
it's good. It's good fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, I need to get onto it. I really do. Before we wrap up, we have a topic from our producer, one of our producers. From Raj. And it's an interesting one. I've got a few questions for it because I don't know a lot about it. He goes, what would you like to see from the James Bond game?
Right,
Do you think it can differentiate itself from the Hitman series? I don't know a lot about the James Bond game. Who's developing it?
It's IO Interactive, the guys that make Hitman.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you you've played all these recent Hitman games? Are they good?
I have. Yeah. Oh, they're brilliant. I fucking love them.
Yeah. Okay.
So much fun. So yeah, I think they're more than capable of making a good James Bond game. I think it's going to be really interesting to see where they go with it. And I think the main thing, because I mean, there's a lot of Hitman that you can add to a James Bond game, like going undercover to these, big, parties or whatever, and you're in undercover and you're going through the crowd to try and find a guy or find intel and then get out without being seen, sort of thing. Like you can do those Hitman sandbox, black box type missions in a James Bond game. The difference with James Bond though is he's, in a lot of instances, like he is very good at being undercover and stuff like that, and being very, very clever with the way that he gets around and stuff. But then there's that he's also an action hero. He's not an Agent 47. He's, he is an action hero. What you need is these high-speed car chases, these, parkour chases across rooftops, things like that. That's what you need to have to differentiate from a Hitman. Is these set pieces. Gunplay is important too. Like obviously in Hitman, the goal is to never be seen. But, in James Bond, you need to have these like, gunplay set pieces, these action set pieces, these car chases, and stuff like that. I think the way that you make James Bond work for a video game is you meld Hitman with Uncharted, and you've pretty much got a good basis for what makes James Bond fun as a video game. And I think IO Interactive are pretty well equipped to nail it, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing where they go with it.
Okay, right. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played these new Hitman games. I always used to like the Hitman games back in the day, like Hitman 2, 3, and Blood Money I played back when they were, like, being released in the old days. And I always liked them, so, I mean, I might give a James Bond game a shot for something different. I just feel like I feel like I played Hitman before, so I'm like, it's not something that draws me in. I don't hate it or anything, but it just hasn't drawn me back into play them.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But certainly interested to see what they can do with the James Bond game. I don't have any theories, but like you said, you know far more than I do with how that would relate, especially with the development team making it. But
yeah, for sure,
it's something I'd be willing to give a shot for sure. Is there any sort of window, or have they just said they're developing it?
They've just said they're developing it. I think they're building a team slowly and stuff. They just sort of announced that it was a project, so I don't think we'll see it soon, but eventually. And I think it'll be good. I think they're just going to nail those set pieces to get it, to differentiate it. Action is important to James Bond as much as stealth is, and that undercover aspect. So it's exciting for sure. And I think if there's any team out there that can get James Bond right, I think it's IO Interactive. So that should be good. I mean, we haven't had a good James Bond game in a fucking long time. And even when we did, they're not that good. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it for sure.
Nice one. Well, with that, James, those are all our topics. Not a massively long episode,
No.
but this is a last minute You know, it was supposed to be a totally different episode, and here we are talking nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's always fun. It's always fun.
It's always fun.
It's always a good time. Being here, I've honestly been enjoying podcasts so much more than I ever have, and I've always loved it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, same for me. I've hated them, so it's good that I'm enjoying myself. But no, it's been good. It's been really good doing podcasts. Four Pillars podcast and this one and Clubhouse. It's been, I feel re-energized with podcasts. So
it's just working with more than just like the two of us is great, but we've done it for so long. You sort of get in a routine, and then now working with all these different people and not necessarily being on the podcast, but still working with an Eddie and a Sheps and Jack and a Joe, and then coming up with future ideas for what shows can we do down the road. Like that's it's more exciting day to day being able to work with a bigger group of people. We're a big company, even though we're not. You know, it's just fun.
Mixes it up and stuff. We're not always doing like the same recordings every week. It's like, you know, we do As Always podcast now, and then next week we'll be recording with George and Ethan, and we'll get to do that show, which is an entirely different dynamic. It mixes it up and it's fun. And like, you know, when I was on bloody Josh de Villiers podcast, that was fun. And then on on fucking True Gamer the other day, that was good fun too. So it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, loving it. Perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, obviously subscribe to the Four Pillars Network.
Definitely, for sure.
That's where all the podcasts will be.
That's where you got to be.
We're still putting out clips and highlights everywhere. And honey dicks, because we're trying to get you in there. But also deliver you the content in any form that you like to consume it. Because we're just great guys like that, you know?
We are. It's true.
And if you like what you're listening to here and you want to hear more, head over to patreon.com/, as always. For just $1 a month, you can get over 100 episodes streamable of the best podcast on the internet, the Clubhouse podcast, plus heaps of other cool rewards and perks. There's more stuff in the pipeline, like I talked about earlier in the podcast, with the health stuff and fitness stuff. You know, TBD of when that's all going to be released, and but a lot in the works there, and it's exciting. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Good shit. All right. Well, to thank everyone on Patreon that is currently supporting us, at $5 or more, we have got the list with Avery Dobbs, Cat94, Clark 53, Colton the Cream Pie King, Damien, does the name William Miles ring a bell, Flash Paradox, Jesper Olsen, Cassandra Fingers Me with her thick strong arms, King Richard III, Olbrick, Raj, Real Kermit Cinema, Ryan Hafer, Tristan Weaver, Viridian, Bullsack 47, Aragon, Fartman 6657, Henry, Justin, Kimosabe Gamer, Cream Pies, Lumistrad, Mario 5380, Uga Booga Chinga Wooga, Tuga Mugga, Luga Suga, Vuga, Puga, Ruga, Suga, Zuga, Yuga, Duga, Pink Flame 313, Sab 2557, Seth, Sicarius aka Kieran, Alfie Robber, Andy Cure, Angel of Harlem, Anonymous 1K, Big Dick 666999, BQ Overlord the Elder, Ben Higgins is waiting for the David Jerome EP, Benedict Clobbers, Bodge, Brian Ford finally remembers to change his name. Can I get a fucking yeah? Sure. Christian 0210, Chunky Malhar, Connor Dros, Bully in the Alley, Elias Rowe, Emil Catborg, Evan Brown, Evan the Kitty, Fat Fuck Cuck, Fishy, Franco. Fucking load the next page, cunt. Fuck, it's taking its time. Come on. What the fuck? It's broke. Hang on.
It's broke?
It won't load.
Oh, God.
I'm refreshing. Hang on. The fuck is it doing? Come on, Patreon.
Come on, mate.
Here we go. Furious Coco, Gene, Gimme a Penis, Ginkgo Swag, Greenies Weenie, Gwen Hughes, Heresy, aka Bat Assassin, Hurlsberg, Hookie, Imagine, Dying in Demon Souls though, Jack Nichols, Jack DG 1998, Jas Notter, Joe the Founded Scarab, aka Tyler's son, Joe the Sexy Boy Smith, John Mayer, I'm not reading that, Josh de Villiers, Josh J. Anderson, Joshua James, Joshua Mora, Assassin, Christian Rowe, Kyle, Lady, Lizomania, Liam, Luca, Louis de Leon, Master Bass, Max H, Milk Boy, Nick Miller, Order 1908, Attacker World 7, Big Brain, Owen, Big Brain Brain, Philip Stillwagon, Poopy, the Scoop Diddy, Whoop Whoop, the Scoop, the Poop, Possessed Jackal, Pubert Flubert, Ravjai Radok, Samwise, the Sassy Son of a Bitch, OG Adargo, TJFL, the Blue Cow, they call me the Greenie Bearer, but Assassin Christmas is long gone, aka Connor, Thomas James Talbot, Timana Travis, Trajan Markion Young, Tristan Oberfeld, Victor Eliasson, next page, Walshy, Winona Ryder, aka Lindsay from Destination Wedding, Your Money, I don't have your money, Zeppo, Biggest Fucking Virgin, Jackery is excited for what's after the Rick era, Rainy Not Sunny, Ballard, no, that's it, we're done, that's the list, that's the fucking list, I did it, it's over, I finished it, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
My eyes glazed over reading that. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's it.
So
That's it for this episode. We'll see you next week for
Amazing.
4 Pillars podcast. We'll see you tomorrow for fucking Streamcast, assuming this goes up when it's meant to go up.
Quick question before
Yes.
we go. Fox Vader, where is it?
What do you mean, where is
I
it?
haven't seen
It's bloody Mario tweeted out. There's a drive link. He's releasing them in parts though. So this is part 1. Next week he's doing part 2. So he's staggering it across the Horsey and Foxes.
I was just checking. I was like, I thought it was on YouTube.
No, because it's copyrighted. So
yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
it's on Drive. So Mario's tweeted it out. So yeah.
Okay, I'll go check it out.
Cool. Anyway, that's it.
Alrighty. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time.
See you next time, boys. Bye-bye.